Hi again, everybody. Welcome to another Second Breakfast. We're doing a viewer mailbag today. Today we've got a theme. Halloween's coming up, so we're doing spooky questions. And that's, yes. Yes. Be spooky, Phil.
We are like bastions of originality. We are like
It's
we
crazy.
are we are we are pathfinders. We're trailblazers for original programming. Halloween's coming up and we're doing a scary mailbag.
Renaissance men.
Like Roy Jones Jr. Yeah, we are Renaissance men.
Indeed. Uh,
Yeah,
we
okay.
both have knowledge of the questions beforehand, but
Yes.
Phil is moderating today, so
I
Phil,
will be the question asker today.
take it away.
So, Andy,
Phil,
question number one.
hit me.
I'm going to take the second question first.
But no one knows the order, so
Shh. Don't worry about that, okay? Um, what are some of the scariest movie moments? Scariest movie moments. Doesn't have to be the scariest movie, but what are some things from movies that just like pierced you to the core?
okay.
As I'm assuming how this question is being asked. These are
Sure.
actual questions from actual viewers.
This is a tough question. I'll tell you why. Because I want to because the scariest moments are sort of by definition spoilers, and I want to steer clear of ruining these amazing moments. I will say the first one that comes to mind, honestly, and it is only scary because of the movie that has come before it. But the end of the movie, Rosemary's Baby, is truly one of the creepiest moments
That was my
in.
pick.
Are you serious?
That was my pick. Like I don't have anything to say now. That's the scariest thing I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yes, it
But now,
truly.
caveat. Um, I anything with the occult terrifies me. Okay,
Agreed.
terrifies me.
Yes.
I don't have. It's just because I kind of believe in it. I mean,
Sure.
I believe in spirits. I believe in. I'm a religious person. I believe in spiritual warfare and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
like, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. That's not how I roll in general. I'm not walking around being like, oh, that devil, blah blah blah. Like I'm living my life and trying to just be a good person. All, but the idea of like satanic people who are trying actively to bring Satan into the world, that's terrifying.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when they're old people who look really nice,
No. No. That's not cool. It's not cool. No. I
people that's
agree.
called people that's called irony, and I don't like it.
Irony. Phil, not a fan.
Not when
Another.
it's not when it's because what they do is they take the oldest looking, like most polished and kindly looking people, and it turns out they're the agents of the dark ruler of the evil and badness. It's not cool.
Agreed.
Not good.
Agreed.
So we're not
Another.
allowed to talk. We're not allowed to talk about the final scene. We're not allowed to say what's happening in that scene.
Right. No.
Okay. Can I? We can't even say what the old people are chanting. Can we say that or
Go
no?
for it.
Okay. So and I won't chant it because that's how scary it is. Imagine Roman Polanski like with the camera going in and out like this on all these old people staring into the screen and chanting at like with all of their fervor, "Hail Satan," and meaning it. It is the creepiest thing I've ever seen. It
Terrifying.
is the creepiest thing I've ever seen.
Terrifying. Agreed. Agreed.
Oh,
I can't think of it too much longer. We gotta move on. We
can we
gotta move
change
on.
the subject? I'm. Oh, can I say something else? I'm
Yes.
gonna hate this entire mailbag. Hate.
Viewers, thank you for sending us things that Phil hates. Please continue.
I don't really
Next.
like scary movies. Okay. Did you have any other scary moment you wanted to talk about?
Not really. Not I mean, I always want to talk about scary movies in some sense, but it'll happen throughout the mailbag. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm terrified by how much I'm starting to like horror movies because I hate horror movies.
Understood.
Okay. Question number two. Are horror comedy movies, okay?
Okay.
Are horror comedy movies actual horror movies or are they a separate genre? Much like There's drama, comedy, action, horror. Is horror comedy a separate genre, or is it part of the same?
That's a really good question. I don't. I don't know that it can be separated into its own genre, but okay. So the two horror comedies that immediately spring to my mind as succeeding on both the horror level and the comedy level
Yes.
are Shaun of the Dead
Yes.
and American Werewolf in London.
Okay.
Both of those movies are have truly terrifying moments and are also just consistently laugh out loud funny.
I have never seen American Werewolf in London.
You have homework this Halloween season, my friend.
Okay.
It is choice. And
Can we add Evil Dead 2 to this list?
no, because I don't think it succeeds as a horror movie. I think it is a wonderful movie. I enjoy watching it. It just doesn't scare me. Well, let me change my answer. You are certainly free to add that to the list, but I wouldn't. And I don't think
There
you
are
can have a
many
genre
things to
with two
see.
movies. But bonus for you and for everyone who's watching, American Werewolf in London has the single most incredible special effect I've ever seen in my life. The first time he changes into a werewolf is it was done completely practically because the movie is from 1980 and
Right.
I think early 80s, if not 1980 specifically. And
When you
it
say
is
when you say practically, for those of us, I have a think. So what you're saying is without any sort of computer graphics.
indeed.
They had to figure out how to use makeup to make this transformation.
It's thrilling in every sense of the word. It's like, wow, humans did, like the part of you that realizes you're just watching a movie is like, wow, human beings figured out how to put that on camera. It was amazing.
Right.
I but then I can't deny that most horror comedies aren't really successful at one or the other. For example, I love the zombie movie Return of the Living Dead, but it couldn't be less scary. But it's hilarious, right?
But it's gory. So a lot of times horror comedy movies are they're following the sort of the tropes of a horror movie, like they're following the beats of a horror movie, but they're done and they have gore. Generally, horror comedy movies have gore. They have
Yes.
things that are not necessarily scary, although they have like the jump out moments.
Uh-huh.
But they aren't necessarily scary. But then they follow those sort of like those beats. But then they have but they're trying to serve a different goal.
Right.
But I don't think they're a separate genre. I think they're just comedies.
Sure.
I wouldn't call the Dead
I
a
mean,
horror movie.
that's fair, and it's. I mean, while this is a good question, it is at the end of the day a semantic question, and so whatever.
Sure.
They're awesome movies, and you should watch them.
What about Scream?
Oh, that is a really good one. I think that is more successful. How to put this? I think that's probably equally successful, horror and
Yeah.
comedy. I
But
just
I
don't
wouldn't
think
put it in-
it's. Say again?
I wouldn't put it in a comedy zone though.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
It's a horror movie.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. A recent a recent entry into the genre that I think was absolutely successful as a comedy, not as successful as a horror movie, but also one of the most intelligent movies I've ever seen. Cabin in the Woods. You all right? You okay?
I'm a little bit bothered by the culture that movie wasn't more explosive in our culture.
Yes.
It was one of the finest things I've seen in a long time.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Absolutely.
It's a horror movie,
Yeah.
but it plays off of horror comedy. Like it's almost like it tricks you into thinking it's going to be a horror comedy, and then it's a horror movie.
Yes.
If that makes
Yes.
sense.
The last 25 minutes of that movie are just they're absurd. They're like you get to the end and even before you're like I liked it or I didn't like it, you're like I can't believe what did I just watch? See it. It's so good and it's not excuse me, it's not so scary that if you don't like horror movies you wouldn't probably enjoy it anyway. Let's move on to the
Really gory. It's really gory.
That is true. Not
Real
scary but
gory.
gory. It's very gory. Let's move on to the third question.
To me, can I say one more thing about horror movies?
Quickly.
About this is that gore matters to me. Like I don't like gore, but horror movies seem to have gore in them. Like, like,
Rosemary's Baby doesn't.
and I'm not sure it's a horror movie.
Ooh, bold statement. That's for another time. I agree with
Okay.
you. Gore is something you have to deal with if you're going to watch a lot of horror movies.
And that's actually my biggest problem with them. Like,
Sure.
that I just don't like seeing that kind of stuff. It just really messes with my head. That's a nice boot, Andy. I
Let's
love
move
your
on.
boot. I know that we're going to get to a point where I don't comment on the boot, but that's not now. That's not now.
Boot. Next question.
Okay. Oh, this is a really simple one, actually. It's just a really simple one. What's your favorite horror movie? Or I'm sorry, that's not the question. That is the question. What's your favorite horror movie?
That's an impossible question to answer. It's just impossible.
Can I ask it a different way?
Sure.
What's the scariest movie? And that's not the scariest moment. What's the scariest movie you've ever
Okay.
seen?
That might be impossible to answer, but
No, it's
in the
not.
moment, here's what I'm going to say. There is a Spanish zombie movie. No,
I knew you were
no.
going to do this. There is a foreign film.
I
No.
hate. There's no.
I knew you were going to do it. I knew you were going to do it. I thought you were going to say there is a French black and white
I
film.
hate you
about
so much.
zombies
This is not.
jumping
I am
around.
not alone in this opinion. I hate you. There's a Spanish zombie movie called. It looks like Rec, like the button record. So it's Recordar.
Right.
And it is about a team of firemen that answer a distress call from a woman in an apartment building. And it is so scary. It is. Here's how scary it is. I watched it for the first time stupidly. I watched it for the first time alone
No.
at night in my apartment. And I actually changed my Facebook status towards the end of the movie to say, if this is back when Facebook was like, your status started with like Andy Roth is. And it was
Yeah.
like, Andy Roth is changing his Facebook status so he has something to do during the last
I
few
remember that.
minutes of
I
the movie
remember when
Wreck,
you did that.
besides pissing himself. Okay?
I remember when you did that.
Here's the other reason I know it's terrifying. I had a couple friends over when the school year started, because it was during the summer. When the school year started again, I had a couple friends over. We watched the movie. All three of us had seen it before. And I was like, this movie was terrifying. And they were like, yeah, whatever. It was pretty scary. Whatever, you know. And then every time something scary was about to happen, one of the three of us would turn to one of the other ones and ask them a question. So that we were distracted, so we wouldn't have to watch the movie.
subject right now.
It is-
Just change the subject.
I know that I'm like, foreign movie, meh, meh, meh. I'm telling you, it is, if you do not like scary movies, you should think twice about seeing this movie. It is terrifying. I'm out. Your answer.
Okay. I'm going old school.
Okay?
The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Terrifying.
Now, let me tell you how scary this movie is, okay?
Okay.
By the way, I picked the Texan movie, not you. That's weird. But okay,
That is weird.
let me tell you how scary this movie is. I've only seen it once. It was in college. It was the director's commentary version. The director was talking the entire time over the soundtrack.
Okay.
All the lights were on. We were in my college house. People were walking in and out of the room. And it was the scariest thing I have ever seen. Not only was I mortified and like couldn't handle what was happening to me, I was like I couldn't turn it off.
Sure.
And I was so transfixed. And the reason that I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre wins for me,
Yeah.
the original people, is because how do I say this? It's scary in the moment, and then it's terrifying later while you're thinking.
God.
It creates these images that are so powerful and so eerie and
Around the dinner table?
deeply. It's just it's like somebody taps into your neurosis and is like just like sucking the marrow of your neurosis and then just putting it onto celluloid. It's not fair. It's not fair. And then so like it's that scary and it's it matches, it's got scary violent images and all that, but then it's also just an eerie premise.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, by the way, based on a true story.
Right. Terrifying.
No.
Terrifying.
No.
It's
So-
truly terrifying.
So scary. You know, Night of the Living Dead. When I showed Night of the Living Dead to some of my students that one time, one of them, I was like, look, I know you don't think this is scary, but it's scary. Just trust me. And then they were like, this isn't that scary. And I go, here's the thing. I said to this one girl, I said, here's the thing. This movie isn't scary to you right now because you're a teenager and it's black and white and it's kind of a B movie and like whatever. And it's not like moments. I said, sometime 6 months from now, you're going to be sitting in your room all alone. And you're just going to hear that guy go, they're coming for you, Barbara. And you're going to lose your mind.
And
it takes 6 months. It took her like 3 days.
And she did.
She came into class a couple days later and she was like, you ruined my whole evening.
Awesome.
Night of the Living Dead is eerie and terrifying.
Yes.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is eerie like that, except it's also in the moment just awfully scary.
Yes, it's true. So,
those are our 3 questions.
Those are our 3 questions.
Happy Halloween to all.
Yes.
I hope you have a safe. I hope you have a safe satanic holiday. I'm just kidding. I will be dressing up like Winnie the Pooh.
Awesome. Awesome.
Because I have a toddler for a daughter, and my wife wants us to be Winnie the Pooh characters, and I am a puppet who does what I am told.
I am going to be dressing up as a sexy nurse. If you would like to submit a question to our next viewer mailbag, please email us at secondbreakfastpodcast, all one word, @gmail.com. Thanks very much, and we'll see you real soon for the next Second Breakfast. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.